So someone asked me to do a video on substitute teaching, and I figured I should do one. This is actually really kind of, I've never talked about how I became a sub or how people can get into sub teaching or any of that. So basically it goes back to when I went through a divorce in 2008, and I hadn't worked for 9 years. And, oh, there's a big giant curl there. Gotta fix that. So I hadn't worked in like 9 years. I think I was a pharmaceutical sales rep when I got married and had my first kid, and then I just stopped working after that. And before that I had worked at pharmaceutical companies as like an administrative assistant. I have a degree in radio, TV, and film and an advertising minor. I didn't really get into radio, TV, and film. I like worked at a TV station for a little while when I was in college as like a gopher at a news station in San Jose. Which was really fun, but it didn't pay. It paid $5 an hour, and I didn't see myself being in front of the camera how ironic, because here I am in front of a camera now. But back then it was just like too terrifying. That was not what I wanted to do. I wanted to do stuff behind the camera, but I didn't really even know what. So I didn't really go into that field. So I ended up doing administrative assistant stuff, which led me to pharmaceutical sales eventually for like a year, which was another insane job. Going in and talking to doctors as if I have all this knowledge to talk to a doctor. That was insane. I should talk about that too. That was some scary shit. But I did do that for like a year. I think I was super nervous every day too, and I would just get myself through it because it was like, I could get everything done in about, by noon, and I was pregnant that whole time too, so it was kind of a nightmare. But anyway, so I go through divorce and I need to do something, because I remember going to the courthouse and the doctor says, "Does mother have a job yet?" And I'm like, I haven't worked in 9 years. I don't even know where to work or how to do this with 3 kids. I had Owen was just 1 and Ryan was 4, almost 5, and Joey was 8. So it was this was not an easy time to just go out and get a job. I had to figure out daycare. I had no family living near me. My ex-husband's family wasn't going to support any of this. They were very angry about me splitting up with him, and I'm not going to get into all of that, but I needed to get out of the marriage. It was not healthy for me or my kids at the time. So anyways, there were signs all over my town that said that they need substitute teachers. They were in desperate need. And so a friend of mine said, "You should be a sub. You just literally go by the plans that the teacher leaves for you, and you just, basically babysit the kids." And I'm like, and everyone's like, "You can do it, you can do it." And this is, I hadn't worked in 9 years. My self-esteem was pretty low as far as what I was able to do and what I could handle. I didn't know what I could do. I just realized I'm totally going the wrong way. Wait, where am I going? Where am I going? I need to go back. Okay, my God, I'm so going the wrong way. So anyways, I look into becoming a sub, and the qualifications for a sub are you need to have your degree. It doesn't matter what it's in. So I had a BA, Bachelor of Arts, and you need to pass a test called the CBEST, which is a math and English test. It takes about 4 hours to take it, and it's a long test. It's a long test, and I hadn't studied algebra or anything like that for such a long time. But they give you plenty of things that you can study online. There's books you can study. I studied all the stuff that I could study for English to take this test. I was very worried about taking this test. I hadn't taken a test in so long, but I did end up taking that and passed it. It was a big accomplishment for me. It was like, wow, I can do stuff. I kind of had been at home just raising kids, and it was a really big accomplishment for me to pass that test. Since then, I've passed my 3 CSATs, which are even harder tests, and that kind of blew my mind that I did that too, because I was not an A+ student by any means. I was definitely a B- C+ student all through high school and college. So anyway, so it made me feel really good to pass that CBEST test. And then you have to pass a fingerprinting, make sure that you've never molested children, basically, and you don't have any kind of criminal record. So I passed all of that, and I remember getting my first job at an after-school program, and they really needed help, and so I got to the after-school program. And I remember my first class was a group of 2nd graders, and the teacher had given me the attendance, and I remember all the little kids sat down, and I knew none of the tricks this is my first day walking in. I didn't know that there was like, you say class, they say yes, yes. There's like all these little tricks to subbing, especially little kids, on how to get them quiet. You don't just yell, because that doesn't work. And I wouldn't do that anyway. So I remember they all sat down, all these little munchkins sat down in their chairs, and they all were looking at me. And all of a sudden, I'm a teacher. Like, what? How did this happen? Like, I'm sitting here. I remember being so nervous in front of little kids, and I was like heart racing, and okay, I'm next. And I was taking attendance, and I think I remember my hands shaking, like, here, these were little kids. So anyways, that was kind of the first stepping into it. There's no training involved at all. You literally just go by the teacher's plans. And there was a lot of teacher talk on the plans sometimes, like, if they're not on task and stuff like that. And I remember thinking, like, oh, this is so, like, I don't even know what this world is. It was like, my kids had just started school, so it was kind of all new to me. So, and then you move their names up and down if they do things wrong, and there's so many things to remember about how to discipline them or keep them in line. Well, it's a group of 30 kids. It was a lot. So I would only take jobs originally with elementary school, because I felt like I could handle them, and I was afraid of junior high kids and high schoolers, because I thought maybe they'll be mean or they won't listen. I didn't really know what to expect. So I just did elementary school for at least the first few years, and it was exhausting. I would do that, and then I would do after school. And I remember, because I didn't really know the techniques on how to keep them quiet, I was probably not accomplishing as much as I should have during the day, and I was dealing more with just behavior, and it was exhausting. It was like, oh my God, I don't want to do this job anymore, where I'm just having to, like, literally be with so many kids all day long that are exhausting me, and then go home and have 3 small kids to deal with. It was just wearing me out so much. So I ended up working at a doctor's office for 2 years as a medical assistant. I decided to go back to nursing. I took all the prereqs for nursing. I'm no longer doing that, but I did. I took all the prereqs. I did really great with those classes. It was just another test almost to myself to see if I could do well, because I originally thought I wanted to do that back in college, go into nursing at San Jose State. When I went for the interview to speak with an administrator who was in the nursing department, the first thing she said to me, it was really discouraging. She said, well, are you okay with vomit and urine and blood and feces, and like, you're going to be dealing with this all day long. Are you okay with all that? And it was like, I remember leaving there. I was like 18 at the time. This is at San Jose State, and I remember like wanting to just okay, I got a call. I don't even know where I was. I feel like my car was making a really weird sound, or that's someone else's car. Okay, so the nursing thing didn't work out. I decided I just wasn't, and it's good. During college, I really was having too much fun having a boyfriend, and I don't think I could have handled those classes back then, but I ended up taking them as an adult, and I did really well in them, like microbiology, anatomy. I ended up being a TA for the anatomy class. I did physiology, and what's the third one? Chemistry. And I did awesome. I was really happy about those. But anyways, that's another story. I didn't end up getting into the nursing program because I let myself fall off the list, basically. It was recently, actually. But I ended up going into medical assisting. I took a night class to get my license for medical assisting. And I worked at a doctor's office for 2 years, a small office in town. I'm going to tell you, it was probably one of the worst jobs I've ever had. I was completely micromanaged. I was treated like a child. I was paid not enough at all, and I could care less if they saw this. It was one of the worst jobs I've ever had. So they let me go after 2 years, but I was going to quit. It was kind of ironic that they decided to let me go. I think they knew I was really unhappy there. It was like going to high school every day, and there was so much drama with all the people that worked there, and I just, the doctors were really good doctors, but I don't think it was managed well at all. So I was laid off, and it was nice. I had some time off, and I was, getting unemployment, and I decided, I still have 3 little kids, and I decided to go back into subbing. And when I went back into it, it was like the best feeling in the world, because every school I went to, they're so happy to see you. They're so glad you're there to like take care of the class, because if you're not there, then they have to get, an administrator or another teacher to cover the classes. So they're thrilled when a sub shows up. Unlike that job that I had as a medical assistant where I was treated like crap every day and made to feel like I was messing up all the time. That was such a bad feeling. Here I was in my 40s and just being talked down to and, brought into like a little, exam room to ask why I messed up on this scheduling thing and treated like a child. It was awful. So to go back into subbing the second time was a delight. And I've been doing it, I think, for 5 years now since then. And I love it. And I do junior high, high school. I do anything from kinder to senior year. It doesn't matter. I'll take any subject. It doesn't matter, because in high school, they don't expect you to teach chemistry. You literally go there and the kids have stuff to work on their computers. You're literally taking attendance and just making sure that, people come to class and they don't leave and they don't go to the bathroom for 45 minutes. High school is really nice because they're kind of in their own world, and little kids are adorable because they love you, because it's fun and you're somebody new, and they draw you pictures, and so I love that. Junior high is funny because they're like, they're starting to get a little bit more cocky and sure of themselves, so they see how far they can take things. But I know how to handle all age groups because I've been doing it for so long now that nothing gets past me anymore. I know how to like deal with attitudes. I know how to deal with raising their hand a million times to go to the bathroom, or needing to sharpen their pencil, or tattling on kids. Those are like the young ones. Those things used to all make me feel a little bit nervous because I wasn't quite sure how to handle it, but with time and experience, it's all come to me, and I know how to handle things really quickly. And it did take time because there's no training for subbing, and so they just throw you in the classroom basically. So you show up in the morning, you go to the office, you get your attendance list and the key to the room. You go to the room, you read over your plans. You have about a half an hour to go over your plans for the day. And a lot of times in high school you have a prep class. That's the teacher's prep class. For you, it's a nothing class. You don't have to do anything. So you have like an hour to sit there and do nothing. And it's so nice. I mean, there's a lot of days where I go home at lunch because the teacher has like nothing after lunchtime, and I get paid exactly the same that I got paid, if it was a day that I was there till 3 o'clock. So I'm out of school as soon as the bell rings, just like my kids. There's no work to do later. I love that. It's a very flexible job. There's no boss breathing down my neck. They're happy I'm there. The kids are always usually great. It's, of course there's the occasional day where I have like a difficult high school student or whatever, but it's not common. And it doesn't pay great. That's the one thing. I used to make $94 a day. That was for a long time. That's what I made. That's what they paid the subs in this area, which is just nothing. So I don't know how I survived, honestly, but my ex-husband has always been able to help out. And then they recently gave us a raise to $160 a day because I've been subbing for so long. I'm literally I'm in a higher tier, which still isn't a lot. Like, if I was a credentialed teacher, I would make more. But as a credentialed teacher, there is so much work to do. It's totally different than subbing. Subbing is you come in and you leave. I mean, it's so easy. So I love it for the place I am in my life. It gives me a lot of time to do the advocacy that I want to do for HIV. I have a lot of breaks during the day where I can work on my computer, which is great. And I just enjoy seeing the kids grow up. I run into them all over town. I've seen many of these kids from kindergarten. Some are in high school now, or they're at that age now where I've seen them since elementary school, and now they're in high school. So it's just been a great experience. I just love it. So I highly recommend subbing for for somebody in my place. I'm a single mom, so it worked out really well. But I think, if you're younger and you had the time and you could go get your credential, that would be the better route. This is the system that I use to get my jobs every day. This is how it works. Okay, I'm back at my house now, and I'm just going to show you how I get my jobs online. For the most part, the district that I work in is very short on subs, so I don't ever miss a day of work. I have work every single day because I keep my schedule so open to take kinder through senior year. I also do special ed, which I love, and that is like the jobs for the kids that have Down syndrome and autism, and it's just a really nice day. There's always aides in those classes that help out. I don't know. It's just a super special day. It always is. I just started doing those about a year ago and I love them. So basically the jobs come in through my phone. There's a system that calls me if they're in need of a sub and I have a free day. It shows through the system that I'm available, so it will call me. Otherwise, if that isn't open, then I have to go to this system. It's called eSchool Solutions. So I basically just go on here, I say I'm not a robot, and I open it up, go up to available jobs, and pick my date range. Usually people don't put jobs in too far in advance. It's usually, you know, the day before, and see what's available. So they're searching, please be patient. Well, this takes longer than normal. Normally it would come up faster than this. And there's nothing available right now. So I can review my assignments in here to see where I'm working. I don't have a job yet for tomorrow, but something will come in before the day starts tomorrow. And it may be at 5 in the morning. I may get a call at 5:30 in the morning for a job. That's common sometimes. But these are all the jobs listed that I already have. A lot of times, because I've been doing this for so long, a lot of teachers just call and text me ahead of time and schedule me because I'm well liked in this district. So that's a great thing. I wrote down some pros and cons that I sort of forgot when I was driving. There are some negatives. There's no benefits. So we do have sick leave, but you literally have to like have a job scheduled that day, and then you have to call them that morning and tell them that you can't make it, which really sucks for them because then they need to find somebody. So that only happens, you know, very rarely. I just don't get sick. So that's one thing. But, you know, I hate to do that to them because that puts them in a bind. So, you know, that's the only way I would get paid sick leave. And we only get paid once a month. So that kind of sucks too. So no benefits. But I have medical insurance through, it's low-cost medical, so that doesn't affect me, and my kids are all covered under that. Some more great things are, of course, we get the summer off. I usually do summer school, and the pay for that is even higher, so it kind of covers the whole summer, basically, even though I'll end up with like 5 weeks off. I can schedule time to go see Eric whenever I want, and I don't have to ask anybody. I just don't work those days, so that's great for me. I love that I don't have to check in with anybody. I don't have to feel guilt from anybody. I just don't go if I don't want to. So that's great. And you know, the same if I had an appointment. I could take the day off for an appointment, but if you take the day off for an appointment, you don't get paid all day. So of course appointments need to be only when I'm not working. I always tell the offices that when I call to make appointments, that if I miss, you know, if I come in at 10 o'clock, then I miss a whole day of work. Like it has to be in the afternoon. And you know, there's plenty of work there. It's never ending because there's just, for where I live, there's so many schools and they have a shortage of subs. So I'm in high demand and I like that. And also, as far as my HIV status, it's never been an issue at all. Not at all. And a lot of people know about it. And, you know, I don't like wear a shirt that, well, sometimes I do wear my U=U shirt, but I don't think anybody even knows what that means. You know, for the most part, I'm not like blasting it or like neon signs that I have HIV, but, you know, a lot of the students know, especially in junior high and high school, and, nobody cares. Nobody cares. If they do, then no one said a thing to me, and they can't. I can't lose my job because of this, so I know I'm fine talking about it. I think that was it. So yeah, I love my job, and I think it's great for people that are going into teaching as well. Might be great for them to try it out and see what they think about subbing before they actually do it. So that's my 2 cents on subbing. It's a great job. It's what I'm going to do for right now. Unless I write a book and it pays really well and I don't have to work anymore. But for right now, this is where I'm at. Subbing and HIV activism and advocacy. The lighting was way better up here. I should have been looking up here the whole time. Shut up, Finn. I forgot to say, I pick and choose all the jobs I want. There's plenty to pick from. So I usually, I don't like to do kindergarten a whole lot because that's like, you know, trying to play whack-a-mole. It's trying to keep them all organized like little wild kittens. So for the most part, I like, you know, kids that are a bit older. But yeah, I get to pick and choose basically. There's usually several choices every day of classes that I want. Or like I said, people will call me in advance and ask me if I can sub their classes. So I usually am just quite happy with my choices every day of where I'm going and who I'm subbing. And it works out superbly. Okay guys, see you later. Bye.